passport, for example.
Technology isn't all scary. There's also fun stuff like gaming.
Lots of women do play games, whether it's on their phones or their tablets.
Then there are Africans who are using new tools to make other people's lives much easier.
We typed the whole CV on a small, QWERTY Nokia phone.
For all these and other technology and social media news, join me, Spumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time on SABC News.
Why is the Department of Health planning to tighten the country's laws on tobacco? And what are the benefits of the plain packaging on cigarette products? What makes smoking the world's second leading cause of heart disease and strokes? And why is the Cancer Association of South Africa promoting this anti-tobacco day? What time is it? It's question time. Welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Countries across the globe marked World No Tobacco Day yesterday under the theme, Get Ready for Plain Packaging. The World Health Organization is calling on governments to introduce plain packaging on tobacco products. Australia is commended for being the first country to introduce plain packaging in 2012. For its part, South Africa is working towards strengthening the Tobacco Products Control Act. This would follow the law banning smoking in public spaces introduced in 2009. According to the Heart and Stroke Foundation, nearly 6 million people die from the use of tobacco or exposure to second-hand smoke each year globally. Smoking is also believed to cause most cancers. But how is plain packaging likely to affect the tobacco industry? We are live. Therefore, you can call us. The number to dial, 089-110-4210. Our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest, Peter Uko. He's the director at Tobacco, Alcohol and Gambling Advisory, Advocacy and Action Group. And joining us from our Sea Point studio is Francois van der Merwe from the Tobacco Institute of Southern Africa. Gentlemen, let me welcome you to the show. Francois, let me start with you right there in Cape Town. Why should people continue to smoke?
Mpho, thank you very much. We believe as the tobacco sector that smoking is harmful to people's health. Most people that I know are aware of that it's a harmful product. And we believe that people who choose to smoke should be over the age of 18 years old so that they can make an informed choice. But it's still a legal product, and people over the age of 18 who are aware of the health risks associated with the use of the product should be able to make that choice. And there's more than 1 billion smokers around the world. It's not going to disappear overnight. So to reduce consumption will be a long-term process with sensible regulation, better education, and we believe within that framework it is possible to reduce consumption over time.
Okay, now what's your answer to my question?
People should be allowed to smoke because it's a legal product and they have the right to choose to smoke once they are aware of the health risks and if they are over the age of 18 in the case of our country.
Okay. Peter?
Well, the statement that Francois makes is basically nonsense because people have the right to choose to smoke. Nobody's removing that right. Nobody's limiting that right other than you can't smoke where that smoke is harmful to other people. So people are free to choose to smoke. But the problem is that when they make that choice at any age, and young children make that choice because of peer pressure, because of marketing of the tobacco industry and so on, they make the choice in the beginning and that choice is quickly removed. It's replaced by addiction, and that addiction is a compulsion to smoke where you are left with no choice. And it's a killer. It drains your pocket, it drains your body, it can kill you, it harms your family. It's really very bad. But if you want to choose to smoke, choose and have the choice removed by addiction.
Well, why do people smoke in the first place?
There are many reasons. A lot of it is peer pressure. A lot of it is marketing from the tobacco industry. Remember the tobacco industry, and the theme this year is get ready for plain packaging. Look at the packaging of the tobacco products today. Cigarettes come in very bright, colorful packs. They've got metallic hologram type inserts. Wonderfully attractive, and you might think, wow, that's exciting. I'm going to take out the pack of brand X because that fits my personality, the color and the holograms, and it just suits me, so I think it's glamorous to smoke. Then they claim to be satisfied by smoking. The truth is that smoking is not satisfying.
Have you ever smoked?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, I smoked in the army. And that was long, long ago, and then just stopped because it's stupid to smoke. It's the most insane thing that any person can do is to smoke. And if you want to quit, make the decision to quit and quit.
But now, you are aware that what you're saying, you're basically saying that Francois must close shop.
Francois just said there's 1 billion smokers around the world. There's between 6 and 7 million, we guess, in South Africa, and it's not going to go away overnight. But it is a long-term process, and that's why we have the legislation. Advertising was banned. Health warnings were introduced in 1995. Smoking in public places was banned in January 2001. And all the things together just add up to a slow process of getting more and more people to quit smoking and more people to make the decision never to start.
All right.
That's important, and we'll get there.
Francois, are you a smoker yourself?
No, sir, I've never smoked. I
You just
haven't
make
even
money
tried.
out of
So
smokers.
unlike Peter, I've never smoked.
So you just make money out of smokers?
Well, sir, I think the question about who should decide for smokers should reside with smokers and smokers only. And
No. Let's deal with the money thing first.
Me.
Francois, let's deal with the money thing first. Do you make money out of smokers?
The tobacco sector obviously makes money out of smokers, and
Are you not in the
reason
tobacco
they
sector?
produce the product is because there is a market for it.
Well, what I'm trying to say here is, are you not in the tobacco sector?
Yes, I am, sir.
So you are making money out of smokers and you're selling them something that you do not use. Why don't you smoke?
Again, to my first response, sir, to smoke is a choice to be made by adult consumers, and my choice is to not smoke. So that's why I don't smoke, but so other people make the choice to smoke, and they have the right to choose the product and to use it for any reason whatsoever that they choose to do so.
So for you, this is just a business decision?
And Paul, the reality is tobacco is a legal product. There's a market for it. There are smokers out there, as also admitted by Peter.
Yes.
And the difference here is to ensure that tobacco consumers, smokers receive products of high quality that adhere to very high industry standards, and also adhere to all government regulations, that is taxes, requirements on packs, and the regulation of tar nicotine levels.
Okay.
But the reality that we have out there of smokers are also exposed to illegal products of which the quality is questionable, on which taxes have not been paid, which are put on the market for cheap, and which actually stimulates consumption. So that will not meet the government's health objective. And as the legal industry, we support the government's health objective of reducing consumption.
Okay.
But that is not possible as long as you have 25% of the market out there that is illegal. And most of those products sell cheaply. So it actually stimulates consumption. And that's where we must start looking at the regulatory framework and how over time will consumption be able to be declined.
Do you agree that smoking is harmful?
So I've said right in the beginning that as the tobacco industry, we admit and we acknowledge that smoking is, the use of tobacco products is harmful to people's health, and therefore people need to make informed choices that they know they're over the age of 18, they are aware of the harmful effects, but they still make the choice for various reasons that they choose to do so.
Okay, let's take a call here. Calvin, you are in Leondale. Calvin?
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Calvin.
Yes, I just want to ask the gentleman there, because he has just mentioned that smoking has been banned in 2001 in public places. But I mean, we still see people in working areas and different places where people are actually smoking. And which authority do you take it up if you find such kind of behavior which has been actually legalized and it's actually out of law?
Okay, thank you very much, Calvin.
May I first correct a statement that Francois made? He said, smokers like Peter. I must make it clear, I'm not a smoker. I said I did smoke when I was in the army. That was in 1963. I'm not a smoker. Smoking is very bad for you, and I said smoking is very stupid. Also, to claim that tobacco and cigarettes is a legal product is really an obfuscation. There are many legal products around which are dangerous, and tobacco and alcohol are perhaps the worst of the two around. And we have to control them. It's good public health policy. Just to put it into local context, 44,000 people are killed by tobacco every year in South Africa, approximately. That's 120 a day. 120 people every single day. That's like 8 rugby teams killed every day by tobacco. Now, in answer to the question, there will always be some people who break the law. Smoking in public places is prohibited, and most people comply with it. Even smokers are quite happy to comply with the law. Smokers are not bad people.
Okay.
They're just addicted to nicotine. So what can you do about it? If you see someone, first go to the person who's in charge of the public place and ask them to ensure that no person smokes. That's a requirement of the law.
Okay.
If you want to go further, go to the SABC and open a docket. I've done that, and the smoking very quickly stops.
Francois, the government is planning to come down very hard, and I heard that your organization is not impressed at all.
Paul, no, that's not entirely correct. As I already mentioned, we support a good regulatory framework as long as regulations are evidence-based and workable. We believe in better education for smokers, especially among the youth, so that they shouldn't start. And with better enforcement of our current laws, we have very good laws as it is at the moment, because it caters for both smokers and non-smokers. And that we believe are good regulations, but it's not always that well enforced. As far as coming down on plain packaging, I already made my statement very clear on our view regarding the harmful effects of smoking and the support that we have for the Minister of Health to reduce the consumption. And how that should be done is with better education, better enforcement of current laws, and evidence-based regulatory framework.
But how genuine are you, Francois? I'm finding it
packaging
difficult to believe what you're saying. How genuine are you to say that you would want people not to start smoking, those who haven't started, whereas that's how you make your money?
And Paul, the reality is that the reduction in consumption will not happen overnight. But how you do it, if you impose extreme measures, for example, increase taxes. If taxes go very high, like some countries 70% plus, it is a well-known fact, for example, that it creates a loophole for the illegal industry to evade taxes and put products on the market for cheap. So the consumption remains, but consumers now have a choice between legal and illegal products. The illegal products are generally cheaper, so which will make it difficult for them to stop.
Okay.
The same thing about an extreme measure like plain packaging. Plain packaging will take away trademarks, distinguishing logos, colors, fonts, brands, and all those things, which makes it possible for consumers to distinguish between brands. So plain packaging, for example, will commoditize the products. So all products look the same. So it will become very difficult for consumers to distinguish between brands number one, number two. Very difficult for law enforcement to enforce the laws and distinguish which are legal and illegal products because they all look the same. And thirdly, we believe that plain packaging will create the opportunity, and this will become a counterfeiter's paradise because now it is easy to counterfeit the products and put products on the market that don't adhere to any quality standards and on which no taxes have been paid because all products are the same. So once again, how will consumption be reduced if that is the case?
Okay, hold it there. Let's take Musa. Musa, you are calling us from Mamelodi. Oh, Musa is gone. Let's quickly take a break. When we return, we'll continue this discussion. Let us hear from you, smokers, as well. What do you think about the measures which the Minister of Health has been bandaging around? So, I know that there's a lot of you out there. Please do call us. The numbers 089-110-4210. Let's hear what your thoughts are there. We shall return shortly.
Technology isn't all scary. There's also fun stuff like gaming.
Lots of women do play games, whether it's on their phones or their tablets.
Then there are Africans who are using new tools to make other people's lives much easier.
We typed the whole CV on a small, QWERTY Nokia phone.
For all these and other technology and social media news, join me, Spumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guests are Peter Uko. He's the Director at Tobacco, Alcohol and Gambling Advisory Advocacy and Action Group. And Francois van der Merwe is from the Tobacco Institute of Southern Africa. They're joining us right here on Question Time. The number to dial is 089-110-4210 if you want to participate. Peter?
First of all, with the packaging as it is now, and its fancy attractiveness for the consumer, which is what the tobacco industry uses as an advertising platform, in fact, there is still counterfeit cigarettes. Plain packaging will make it less attractive for smokers and for non-smokers. And I said, most smokers, and the statistics have borne this out in many countries, starting with Australia in 2012, that most smokers make the decision, or at least think about the decision, to quit smoking because of the plain packaging and the large health warnings. And remember, this is the objective. The package must tell the truth. The health warnings and the health messages will inform the public fully about the dangers of tobacco smoking. The other thing is the matter of illicit trade. The figures that Francois throws around, he mentioned 25%, is not true. We have figures from Professor Corne van Walbeek at the Cape Town University Department of Economics, which show completely other figures. The tobacco industry has a funny, erroneous way of calculating the illicit trade. If you want the truth, speak to Corne van Walbeek. He's the man with the facts. Then we have the plain packaging and the attraction to children. It has been proved scientifically that children are much more likely, and the youth, to make the decision not to start smoking because of the plain and standardized packaging, because they don't have all those glamorous logos. Okay. As far as trade rights are concerned, it's very clear around the world where the tobacco industry has challenged the removal of logos and branding and coloring, and they've lost those cases.
Let's take Masono. Masono, you are in Welkom.
Yes, Mpo, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for the call.
I'm good, thanks. Let's first thank the information that you are bringing us. The fact that smoking was actually banned in terms of advertising since 2000, if I heard correctly.
Yes.
But now I want to get clarity from Mr. Franco. How possible is it that they are saying they are encouraging people not to choose smoking yet they are making money out of it. How is that possible?
Okay. Well, that question has come back again, Francois.
Paul, the answer is very clear, is that smokers and consumers have the right to either smoke or not to smoke. If, for example, the tobacco industry is banned, the smokers will still be around. So it will just be, the market will just be supplied by the illegal underground industry. And this is the dilemma we sit with. So rather work with a legitimate industry who's willing to cooperate, who pays taxes, because this is not only about health. There's also a huge economic argument. The tobacco sector makes huge economic contributions in all the countries where they operate, and I can quote the stats.
Well,
but the reality is, if you take a picture of the industry being banned, the smokers will still be there, the market will still be there, but the market will be provided and supplied by the illegal underground industry.
Okay, Francois, the Minister of Health spokesperson Joe Maila says, and I quote in response to what you're saying, he says, you don't have to give people unhealthy things because it creates jobs. But let's take Ayanda in Durban. Ayanda, welcome.
Hi, Mpho. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Ayanda.
I'm good, Mpho. We need to understand and also that tobacco is a very serious problem. As your guest articulated that people are dying out of it. But a very simple question for two of your guests, Mpho, is that do they agree with me, or many South Africans who are saying that those young kids, students from various universities or schools, who have become addicted to drugs, illegal drugs for that matter, have began with the legal drugs like tobacco products or substances that have been legalized, but also have gone out to take those illegal ones and got addicted to an extent that they can no longer continue to survive without those kind of drugs. So do they agree with me on those issues, and how are we going to ensure that we don't get to that stage where people get these legal ones and perpetuate to a situation where they go to the illegal drugs and destroy the nation?
Okay, and thanks very much for the call. Francois, very quickly, please.
I can't comment on other drugs. I've made my point that tobacco is a harmful substance. It's better not to smoke, but people over the age of 18 years have the right to choose, and they have the right to use the product within the regulatory framework set by the government of every country.
All right,
I can comment on other drugs, and the important thing about the other drugs is that tobacco and nicotine is the gateway drug which leads to the other drugs. And let's get something clear about illicit trade, which I have to clarify, because Francois said that if we raise taxes, we'll get more illicit trade. That is patently not true.
You don't seem to believe that Francois is talking sense.
Well, they don't give you the full information. There are countries with 70% tax, and there's lots of smuggling. But there are countries with zero tax where there is smuggling, because smuggling has got nothing to do with tax. It has to do with criminal activity. Criminals want to make money, so they make money out of cigarettes and all sorts of other products which they smuggle. Tax is a very good public health measure. If the cigarettes and tobacco products became progressively more expensive, and that is progressively less affordable for the consumer, more smokers would quit and more non-smokers would never start. Tax is an excellent public health measure, and we will be lobbying the President, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Social Development, and the Minister of Finance in order to design a new regime which will ensure that tax and excise duty increases at a rate higher than inflation. That's important. It must become progressively less affordable. Tax is the way to do it.
Where are these illegal cigarettes coming from?
All over the place. Some are smuggled across the border, some are manufactured illegally in South Africa, and some are what you call round tripping, which the legal industry calls DNP, euphemistically, duty not paid. That is legal cigarettes which are marked for export no duty paid, and they never exported. They recirculated inside the country.
Okay.
It's a big problem. We need to deal with it. But the enemy is not tax.
Okay.
Tax is the friend. It's a good health measure. It will save lives.
Francois, would my life be affected badly if you were to run out of business?
Would your life be negatively affected?
Yes, as a South African.
If the tobacco sector, the legal tobacco sector, is not present in South Africa, this economy will be poorer. The fiscus will be poorer. The tobacco industry contributes over 16 billion last year in terms of excise and VAT. The jobs on farms are 8 to 10,000 with 35,000 dependents. The sector supports 180,000 jobs with more than 500,000 dependents if you take the whole value chain. So the country will be poorer, and that's why I say every policy option needs to be also weighed up. Will it undermine or will it improve the economy of our country, which at this stage is a very important thing.
Okay.
On illicit trade,
All right.
We don't thumb suck. We commission independent third-party research. And as
Okay.
long as everybody pays taxes, that's fine. But everybody doesn't.
That's
and that
fine.
is where the problem comes, where cheap products are in the market.
Okay. We've
That's
got
an
two-
obfuscation, and I'll deal with it as soon as you're ready.
Okay, we won't have time today though. Let me quickly just go through our tweets and see what our viewers are saying out there. Christian Kleinhans, it is very difficult to get backup from health inspectors and officials when one needs support. And the second one, Advantage, Kucho Mamabulo, what happened to the right to choice? If someone chooses to smoke, then let them go ahead. They are the ones who will suffer. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but that was question time for today. Have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.